Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be roasting my handmade wardrobe. So for context, I've been sewing since January 2020, but I didn't start making garments or doing upcycles or thrift flips or even like making garments from scratch until July, August 2020. So it's been about a year of making garments, and there has been quite a bit of progression, and I thought that I would show you some of my earliest makes and what went wrong along the way. Some of these are actually quite recent as well, so just to show you that things can go wrong. Sewing is always a work in progress, and that's what we're seeking, progress over perfection. But before we get into it, if you like sewing content, sustainable fashion, and general DIY, make sure you are following my channel, or if you want to wait until the end of this video to see if you like what I'm putting out, maybe you want to subscribe then and give a like. Totally up to you. Now, without waiting any further, let's go into the roast. One of my first big projects was this coat. This is the Ilford Jacket from Friday Pattern Company, and I love this jacket for so many reasons. I really love the plaid. This is a wool, a dead stock wool from Blackbird Fabrics that they had last winter, and I had made this in January of 2021. I really loved it when I first started making it. A lot of people were posting their own sort of lined wool Ilford Jacket version, so I decided to be ambitious and do it for myself. You know, the thing is though, I got really into the project and I rushed it and I did not take my time. So there are certain things that are a bit funky about it that I'll walk you through. Now, the first thing is the fit. For one, you can kind of see when I move my arms that there is quite a bit of tension across my shoulders here. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I don't really have the full range of motion. And this is because I made it quite a bit bigger because I wanted the oversized fit, but that means that the shoulder seam is actually down here, which restricts my movement. If I had brought the shoulder seam up like that, then all of a sudden I have a lot more range of motion. So that is one thing to keep in mind, but you know, not horrible considering I had no idea. Another thing is the pockets. This pocket is good, but this pocket I made way too small. I can barely even put my hand in there. And when I do, I have to kind of shove it, so it makes it seem a bit funny. You can also see that I switched up the pattern here, so this is going down and this is going across. This was an accident. I do actually like how it turned out, but it was not intentional. Another thing is the snaps, and you can see here that I actually cut into the wool to put the snap in because in total it was way too thick to put the snap through. Now I could have gotten heavier duty snaps, but I didn't. And so when I realized that they didn't work, I just improvised. This is not a huge deal, but it means that often when I'm trying to button the coat up, I have to move the fabric out of the way to do that, and it doesn't always line up that great. On top of it, it's not really ideal to have to cut into the fabric. And I should have done buttons, but I didn't know how to do buttons at the time because I was still new. The last thing is the hem of the coat. Now, you can kind of see that it bubbles at the bottom here, and that's likely because of how I did the lining. The whole thing is kind of a bit bubbly and funny shaped. Definitely needs like a steam to get rid of that, but this is also because I didn't take my time and I didn't know how to do lining. So overall, it's not the worst, but there are definitely areas where I really should have taken my time and I didn't. But I'm really proud of myself for venturing into that project. I feel like now I could make a coat that I really love, and maybe I'll do some changes on that. I'm not sure yet, but I think that it was a project that really pushed me out of my comfort zone and really made me want to try something new. And speaking of trying something new, my next project is my Jenny overalls. So I've posted about these a ton on this channel because they're my most worn make and my favorite. However, they are probably one of my most flawed. I know, can it get worse than the coat? There is just a lot of structural things that I'm starting to fix over time because I want to continue to wear these overalls, and the next time I make a pair of overalls, I will know what to do differently. But first, let us start with the most basic part of the overalls. The easiest part, or should be, is the buckles. So this is my first time doing buckles, and as you can see here, this one is intact and this one is not. Now every single button on this overall has come off at some point and I've had to redo it. I think this is the second time I've redone this one. And that's really just because I did not know how to do them properly. You're supposed to do it, bang it on a metal surface, but I didn't want to make noise, and I also didn't realize that it would be more effective if I did it that way. So I banged it on the carpet and it just made it crooked. And so I've learned my lesson now. I will continue to do buckles on metal surfaces now to make them go in straight and smooth and firm. So yeah, this is just my constant annoyance, and I now need to get another one because this has fallen off. It's fine. It's a pretty funny thing when you're in public and your strap falls off. So that's the buckle. The next one is this buttonhole. So again, I was terrified of buttonholes. I didn't want to try them at the time. And so what resulted is this very strange hand-sewn buttonhole that didn't really work out very well. So I'm not going to do that again. We now know how to do buttonholes. We're going to be doing buttonholes, but that's just a funny little quirk that has arisen from sewing, is all my different methods of trying to avoid buttonholes. The next issue is at the pocket at the front of the overalls. You can see that this is a bit of a structural issue. The pocket is basically coming out here, so I'll have to patch that. But what happened, I believe, was that I cut the seam allowance too short, and in the wash it frayed. So lesson learned. I had a few things do this. Actually, I had patched these overalls at the crotch. You can't tell anymore because it looks better now, but I had fixed the overalls at the crotch because I had cut the seam allowance too short and it had frayed and created a hole in the wash. So it's just like, I think that's kind of like a beginner mistake. A lot of people do that, and going forward we are not cutting things so close to the seam anymore. We are giving ourselves some room to breathe. It's just a lesson that you learn. Next up is my third variation of the Ilford jacket, and I know you would think that by this point I would have it down. However, I rushed, and that is always a recipe for disaster. So this is the jacket. It's from this vintage thrifted canvas. It was really cool. I was really excited to try it out. However, let me show you some issues. So when you try it on, it was my first time doing a button pocket, which wasn't the best, but it turned out okay. Again, I added snaps because we don't love buttonholes around here. And then this is where things go astray, is that it doesn't match up at the hem. You can see here that the hem is about an inch too long. So I have to fix it, and I will fix it, but it's just stopped me from wearing the jacket because I haven't been bothered to do it. So this is, a reason why I haven't been wearing this jacket is just, it's not wearable to have it. It's not wearable at all, so I have to fix it before I decide to wear it out. But another reason why it's not wearable, and I think this also goes along with, roasting my makes, is that this is actually not something that I would wear. I don't love the fabric, like the pattern on it. I don't like the print. It's cool as a fabric and maybe cool for someone else, but it doesn't actually fit in with my wardrobe or my style. So it's just, not only does it have a hem that's mismatched, but it just doesn't actually work with my style. So this is a bummer. I think what I'm going to probably do is fix the hem, make it nice, and then either sell it or give it away to someone who wants it, because it's a really well-made jacket. Otherwise, I definitely made it properly. The construction is pretty good, except for the bottom, but that will be fine. But yeah, it just doesn't work in my closet, so that's fine. That's a lesson learned. That's why I'm doing the roast, to show you that it can be construction, but it can also just be making garments that don't work for you. Another roast I have since disassembled the shirt, and it is now some fancy napkins, but it is this top that I will put somewhere over here. I posted it on my Instagram because I was really proud of it at the time, and I think it was actually my first garment that I ever made, and so it was rough, but I was following the Essentials Club tutorial. I did not really know what I was doing. I was trying not to pick apart the whole thing, but that really would have been the best thing to do. And it just, again, it wasn't my style. It wasn't really that well constructed because I did not really know what I was doing. And in the end, it had to have a new life as some napkins. So that's okay. That's kind of how things go. But I wanted to post that one because it is definitely the first garment that I ever made, and she's a mess. She was a mess, and she's living a better life as some napkins. Do I look different? It's because I'm wearing this hat. This is my first bucket hat that I made, and again, actually no, this is the second bucket hat that I made, and this is a bit of a funny one. I wear this hat pretty much every day in the summertime. I really like it. I like that it's white. It's actually upcycled denim, so the denim had a bunch of stains on it, and I upcycled it so that the stained parts are on the inside or are on the wrong side, so you can't see on the hat. And yeah, overall, it's a very wearable hat, and I really like it, but if you get too close, you can see that the lines are a bit funky. They're not great. I did not draw guidelines. I just kind of zoomed by. I remember doing this and I was like zooming through and thinking that, everything would work out great, and it didn't. So this, you can see that here, the lines just converge. This seems quite bulky. I don't even think I pressed up here at all. So I love this hat. She's a favorite. She will continue to stay in my closet, but it's not, now I've made a bucket hat since then, and it's so much better and so much easier. It's amazing how much easier it is to make something once you've already done it and you've like let some time pass by. So, you know, she's a funny one, but I'm gonna keep this hat probably as long as I don't lose it, because I just love that this is like a marker for my very beginning and where I've kind of come since then. So she's a keeper, even though she's not really the cutest. It's like an ugly duckling, but even like ugly ducklings I feel like are still cute. It's still a bucket hat. Next up is this jumpsuit, and you know, I had high aspirations for this jumpsuit, and the construction was actually pretty good, except, you know, this fabric kind of stretches a bit and warps as you sew it. You can see here that like the shoulder seam is off. I didn't really try to fix that very well. This one, the shoulder seam, you can kind of just completely see when it's on. It pokes out of the side there. This is where I had tried to do a button placket because I wanted to do snaps, but surprise, I didn't have the snaps that I thought I did, and I didn't want to do buttons. Is there a trend here? Just do the damn buttons, Cassie. Do the buttons. We do buttons now, but at this point we did not do buttons. So this button placket became closed and then became like a pull-on jumpsuit, and this is where things went wrong because it does not fit as a pull-on jumpsuit. Let me demonstrate. Okay. You can see here, it's too short in the torso, and that's because I had to adjust some things when I decided to make it a pullover jumpsuit. The back just kind of sticks out like this because I didn't put any darts. The front is actually okay, but the back doesn't match up in the V because I didn't know how to do a V-neck properly. You can see the shoulders are not good. This whole crotchal region is not cute. I hemmed them a bit too short. So overall, like, the shape is good, but it's not working. That's okay, because I'll take it apart and make something else. Overall, it's really cute, and I was definitely there with the shape. Like, I nailed the shape and the fit generally, but it was once it veered from my original plan that things started to kind of go a bit messy. And what I had done was I had traced this from an existing jumpsuit that I had, and I should have known the fit problems that would have come up from that jumpsuit to this jumpsuit, because they're literally the same problems. I just didn't do anything to fix it. So at the end of the day, you know, I learned a lot about fit. I learned a lot about not taking shortcuts. Like adding buttons would have just made this 100 times better and more wearable. But since it is not, it will be upcycled into something else at some point. Maybe that's a video project down the line. And now to get into my last item, it's these shorts. I have posted about these shorts before. Oh my god, I can see all the strings coming out now that I'm getting close to it. But I posted about these shorts before because there was potential, but I think they're gonna just be fancy napkins because, well, for one, the pockets don't go the right way. So this one, you know, normal pocket, you put your hand in this way. This pocket, you can't do that. It's the opposite way. It's hard to tell on here. But the pockets basically go, one goes to the front and the other goes to the back. So they're not functional at the same time. This is my first time doing pockets, so it kind of makes sense that this is where the mistake happened. And these were also self-drafted. And honestly, like for a self-drafted short, like they're quite nice. Like I like the shape a lot. They were pants that didn't work for me as pants, so I cut them into shorts. But they weren't designed to be short, so they were a bit tight around the thigh, which is why I haven't been wearing them. And also I just find that this is not this kind of material, that this like linen, this color in the shorts is not working for me. But I made the matching top, and the matching top looks great. So, you know, sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. It had a really cute, you know, like little contrast pocket there, which again, first time doing pockets, so that turned out really sweet. I liked that a lot. And yeah, like the elastic waist fits well. Everything was done, you know, well, but there were some scales missing that led to a bit of like a funny fit, and also just maybe some not some attention to detail, but that's okay. And that's what this video is for. So that brings us to the end, and I really just hope that, you know, I'm making fun of myself, but I'm doing it because I want to show that it's super fine to make mistakes, and you will continue to make mistakes along the way, and you might end up with a drawer full of fancy napkins, or, you know, fancy napkins that you give to people, or clothing that becomes smaller and then becomes baby clothes, or whatever it is, a bucket hat. And it's just part of the process. I have definitely learned something from all of these. Some mistakes I've repeated more than once, and you know, when I know that if I have not learned my lesson yet, there will be a pivotal moment where I do, and that's cool, because that's what it's all about. Again, progress, not perfection. If you like that and you want to stay tuned with me in between videos, I post every Tuesday, by the way, you can follow my TikTok and my Instagram. That's where I kind of post a bit more regularly, and YouTube will be Tuesdays hopefully forever. That's our day that we're sticking to for the long term right now. So thank you again for watching. If you like this, a thumbs up would be amazing, and I will see you next time.